Okay, so the Eagles are playoff bound after beating the Panthers in what was their 9th straight win, but it certainly wasn't pretty, as the Birds clearly struggled at times, especially offensively, as Jalen Hurts in the passing attack had what was a rather lackluster performance. And that led to multiple players voicing frustrations about the offense and the passing game, including Jalen Hurts and also A.J. Brown. However, there's still plenty of reasons to be excited, as Saquon Barkley broke a major franchise record, while Gardner Johnson and Darius Slay made big plays, and again, the Birds are officially in the playoffs, so we're going to talk about that and everything else from the Eagles' win over the Panthers starting right now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan, and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And it's Victory Monday for the 9th straight week in Philly after the Birds just got an important home win over the Panthers to move to 11-2 on the season, and with a couple of other things happening, the Eagles were officially able to clinch a playoff spot, making that their 4th straight and their 7th in the last 8 seasons. So there are definitely a lot of reasons for Eagles fans to be happy right now. That being said, though, it was an ugly one to say the least, as they ended up in a dogfight with what is on paper one of the NFL's worst teams. Now, credit to the Panthers because they did play a really good game, but the Eagles honestly just did not play up to their standard on either side of the ball, as offensively, a slow start plagued them once again, and Jalen Hurts and the rest of the offense were really never able to fully get going like we've seen them do in the past. And then defensively, despite what the final scoreboard says, this was probably their worst performance of their win streak so far, as Bryce Young, Adam Thielen, and Carolina's low-ranking offense really gave Philly's #1 ranked defense trouble at times. However, the defense did start the game pretty well, as they forced punts on the Panthers' first 2 drives of the game, and the highlight here came on 3rd down on the first drive, as safety Gardner Johnson delivered a massive hit on Xavier Legette to break up a pass and end the drive. And man, this might be the best hit of the year, because he just absolutely crushed the rookie wide receiver in what was the start to a really impressive game for CJ.
Hello. The way you wanted to? Hello. Hello.
Unfortunately, though, the Eagles' offense wasn't able to pay off CJ's heroics and the defense's good start, as they ended up stalling out pretty quickly on each of their first 2 drives, which just continues the trend of the Eagles' offense starting games extremely slow. And safe to say, Jalen Hurts isn't happy about it.
Didn't get up. Didn't get anything going until the second quarter. I mean, what's kind of
well, it's nothing new. That's kind of what we've done, and got to figure it out at some point.
It is really interesting that despite the offensive success that the Eagles have been able to have this year, they've just really never been able to get things figured out in the first quarter and start games faster. Now, what's the reason for that? It's not quite clear, but Jordan Mailata offered his best explanation after the game.
I think momentum killers, like stupid penalties, hurting us, self-inflicted wounds, that is certainly a factor. As in terms of anything else, that's not an answer. That's not a question that I can answer. But I think from what my experience, I think just momentum killing.
He's certainly right that momentum killers do have something to do with it, but whether it's that or other things, the Eagles offense definitely needs to find a way to get that figured out moving forward. And luckily for them, they finally got things rolling in the second quarter on their next drive, as after the Panthers got a field goal to go up 3-0, Saquon Barkley got things going for the offense as he broke off a few nice runs before Jalen Hurts then made a fantastic play to extend the drive on a 3rd and 8 as he evaded pressure and hit DeVonta Smith on the sideline for a gain of 27. And then, a couple plays later, the Birds were in the end zone via the brotherly shove to put them up 7-3. Unfortunately, though, the Panthers and Bryce Young responded with one of their best drives of the season, probably, as they went 69 yards in 14 plays and took almost 8 minutes off the clock before Tommy Tremble caught a touchdown pass from 3 yards out on 4th down, which put Carolina back in front 10-7. And a lot of what went wrong on this drive was just that the defense could not get off the field when given the chance to, as they lit up several 3rd down conversions and, of course, the 4th down conversion for the touchdown. And to make matters worse, the Eagles went 3 and out on their next drive, as Jalen Hurts just simply missed Johnny Wilson over the middle on 3rd and 7. And at this point, with 3 minutes left to go in the first half, there was some clear frustration building for the Eagles regarding their passing attack, as Jalen Hurts was just 4 for 9 on his throws, and the duo of A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith had just 2 targets, with both going to Smitty. And this was really only the start of what ended up being a pretty rough day passing the football for the Eagles offense, as Jalen Hurts finished 14 for 21 on his throws for just 108 yards, and although he did throw 2 touchdowns and also didn't have any interceptions, it was clear that the timing was just off at times between Hurts and his receivers, and Jalen would agree with that, as after the game he sounded off on the Birds' struggles passing the football, while also explaining what was holding them back.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. I think we did a bad job. That starts with me, how I execute, and ultimately, you yearn and I yearn for better synchronization amongst that. Yearn for a more complementary style of ball in a sense. Some things don't get you until it gets you, and it's been definitely been some urgency there trying to figure it out, and got to keep climbing and trying to progress in it.
Any takeaways right now?
Not at the moment.
What's holding you back?
Just the lack of synchronization there.
Yeah, so there you go. Like I said, the synchronization and timing of some of these throws was just off. And Hurts clearly did not have his best day, and he definitely needs to do a better job of just not hesitating and actually letting the ball go on some of these timing routes that the Eagles are putting out there. But for that to work, everyone, including the receivers, have got to be on the same page, and like Jalen alluded to, they were not in this game. And DeVonta Smith said the same thing, saying, quote, "We're just not on the same page." So that's certainly not what you want to hear, especially this late in the season, and you got to wonder how much of it is just the lack of continuity the Eagles offense has had this year, with just so many guys going in and out because of injuries. But regardless of what it is, the Eagles just gotta find a way to figure it out. Because as much as this offense's identity still lies with the run game, they still need to have the versatility to be able to pass the football effectively, and they didn't do that in this game. So naturally, guys like Jalen and Smitty are frustrated, and add AJ Brown to that list too, as he was clearly frustrated with how things went for the Eagles in the passing game, and he expressed that after the contest.
What are some things you think that the offense needs to improve on? Passing.
AJ, I know everybody wants to get in a rhythm, and DeVonta was acknowledging that. You know, receivers, just like running backs, want to get in a rhythm. How hard is it as a receiver to get into a rhythm when you guys are only throwing the ball like 20 times?
Incredibly tough.
It seemed like there was a moment.
Now look, we all know how this goes. The media has been trying to bait AJ Brown to say something controversial for weeks now regarding his lack of targets, and now that he said this, they're probably going to try and make a big deal about it, and how he's frustrated that he's not getting the ball enough, or whatever they're going to want to say. But in all honesty, I really just see no problem with what AJ said. Like, I don't think he's wrong to call out the fact that the passing game was a problem this week, and hasn't exactly been great for a couple weeks now, and I mean, he's telling the truth, just like Jalen did, and just like Smitty did. So personally, I see no issues with what AJ said, and I'm honestly glad that he and the other guys are out here voicing their concerns and holding the offense accountable, because that's the only way they're going to get better. And luckily for them, even after the 3 and out, the defense gave them another chance to end the half, as Gardner Johnson picked off Bryce Young on a deep third down pass that was overthrown, probably due to some pressure from Jalen Carter, and this came after CD had exited the game earlier to be evaluated for a concussion. So for him to come back in and make this game-changing play was super impressive. And the crazy thing is, that wouldn't be the last time CJ went out and came back in, as later in the game, he had to exit with a different injury that seemed to cause him a lot of pain, but still, CD was able to fight through it and come back in to finish the game, and I think he deserves a ton of credit for just how he played and the impact he was able to make despite the pain that he was clearly in. And the great thing about this pick is that it completely shifted the momentum of the game in the final minutes of the first half, as the Eagles offense then got the ball back and they were able to put together a very important drive. And don't worry, we're going to get into that and so much more in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and you don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this covering the Eagles throughout the rest of the season, then make sure you subscribe, and also really importantly, turn on notifications so you're notified instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss any of the Eagles coverage or content I got coming on this channel. I cover the Birds pretty much daily here, so if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Eagles news, this is the spot. So again, subscribe and hit that notification bell, and also while you're at it, make sure you drop a like to show some support, because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 800 likes today. And now, with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So as I was saying, the Eagles offense was able to put together an absolutely crucial drive at the end of the first half, as Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown finally connected a couple of times, and before we knew it, the Birds were in the end zone via a Jalen Hurts to DeVonta Smith touchdown pass from 4 yards out, and that gave the Eagles back the lead 14-10 right before the half. And then on the first drive of the second half, the Eagles were moving the ball once again, largely on the ground behind Saquon Barkley, but unfortunately, a missed 52-yard field goal from Jake Elliott left nothing to show for it. And that now makes Elliott 0 for 5 from beyond 50 yards in the season, so that's definitely not great, and it's kind of concerning as we get closer to the playoffs, in my opinion. And to make matters worse, the Panthers followed that up with another great drive, as Chuba Hubbard really was having a lot of success against the Eagles' 7th-ranked run defense, and a lucky 4th down conversion where Adam Thielen caught the ball after it was tipped up by Jalen Carter kept the drive moving, and then Hubbard eventually capped it off with a 1-yard touchdown run, giving the Panthers back the lead. So again, Carolina's offense was somehow just finding ways to have success and move the ball consistently against an Eagles defense that really has shut down everybody in front of them ever since the bye week. But the good thing is that the Eagles offense was then able to respond with another big drive, where an absolutely crucial 35-yard scramble on 3rd and 10 from Jalen Hurts kept the sticks moving and set the Birds up in the red zone, where they eventually then capitalized as tight end when Grant Calcaterra caught his first ever NFL touchdown to give the Birds back the lead 22-16 after the 2-point conversion to Barkley was good. So first, shout out to Calcaterra for catching his first touchdown, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, ran a little kind of a whip route, and they were in the perfect coverage. It parted like the Red Sea. It was wide open.
You looked like you were pretty jacked up after that.
Yeah, pretty fired up, to say the least. Yeah.
Great to see Calcaterra not only get his first NFL touchdown, but also to do it at a big moment in the game. And also credit to Jalen Hurts here, because obviously, even though this wasn't even close to his best game, he still was able to show up here when the Birds needed him to. And then the defense was able to show up big on the next drive, as Darius Slay had great coverage on Xavier Legette on 4th and 2, and it forced an incompletion and a turnover on downs. And then the Eagles offense got the ball back, and Saquon Barkley did something historic, as with a 9-yard run on the second play of the drive, Barkley passed LaShawn McCoy's Eagles franchise record for most rushing yards in a single season of 1,607. And that's just insane, considering that the Eagles still have 4 games left to go, but that's just how good Barkley has been this year. And after the game, Barkley talked about what it means to break that record.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. The most important thing was getting a win, and we got to win. But, you know, being a fan of Shady's growing up and seeing the spectacular things he was able to do with the ball in his hand, and, you know, to be able to have my name match with him, it definitely means a lot. But gotta give credit to the guys up front. They made my job a lot easier so far this year, and hopefully continue.
Gotta love Barkley crediting the offensive line there, because they are a big reason for why he was able to set this record. And in this game, if you want to point to a positive offensively, the run game was still very effective, so that's definitely a good thing. But still, just overall, the offense has to be better than it was in this game for multiple reasons, and star tackle Jordan Mailata would agree with that, as after the game, he called out the offense for their subpar performance and also for putting the defense in bad situations.
I just felt like we didn't play complementary ball, and we kept putting our defense. The offense kept putting the defense in situations, and then making them look bad. You know, giving them short fields. It's just like bad ball on our part. Now there is a bright spot. The run game was still there, still efficient. Jalen scrambling was nice, especially when we weren't, you know, when it wasn't as firm as we was used to. You know, so that was a good part to take away. But at the same time, a lot of question about, you know, how's the pass game and why is it not the same? And it's because we're a little leaky right now. And we'll watch the film and go back to it tomorrow and get our corrections and see why the communication was the way it was.
Obviously, like I talked about earlier, they just gotta find a way to get things fixed in the passing game, but I also like the point that Mailata made about the offensive struggles putting the defense in poor situations. And that's kind of what happened to end off the Eagles' final offensive drive of the game, as on the edge of field goal range with a struggling kicker, Jalen Hurts took a really poor delay of game penalty, which ultimately killed the drive, and instead of opting for the long field goal, which Elliott honestly probably would have missed, Nick Sirianni decided to put the game on the punter and his defense. And Braden Mann paid off that decision by Sirianni, as he kicked a beautifully placed ball that DeVonta Smith was able to catch and down on the 1.5-yard line. Unfortunately though, the Eagles couldn't get off the field early, as Bryce Young made magic happen on a 3rd and 11, where he escaped a sack in the end zone and then threw off balance downfield to an open Xavier Legette for 31 yards. And then he did it again later in the drive when he found Adam Thielen on a 4th and 7 for the conversion. And then he almost won the game on a deep throw to Legette, but fortunately for the Birds, he dropped it when it hit the ground, so the Eagles got lucky there. And then luckily, Darius Slay stayed locked on to Adam Thielen on 4th down and eventually got the pass breakup to seal the tough victory by a score of 22-16. And Slay spoke about that play after the game.
Oh yeah, man, just shoot. You know, Bryce was making a play, trying to scramble and extend the play. He's doing a great job at that. I just knew one thing about Thielen, man, playing him so long in Minnesota, that he's great at scramble drill, just finding, keep working towards the quarterback. So I came from all the way to the other side, went all the way to the other side. I was gassed, and I was just like, hey, he throw this ball, I'm gonna make this play over here. So thankfully I did, because one play where he scored that post ball, that was almost OD, because I was gassed. What? I was so gassed. He ran a good route. I was trying to guess wrong. But then the Lord blessed me to make another chance, make another play.
Certainly glad that Slay was able to hang in there and make this crucial play after he had almost let up the touchdown earlier. And just overall, obviously, I'm glad the Eagles got the win. And look, was this game pretty? No, it wasn't. Like, yes, the defense struggled at times to contain Bryce Young and also the Panthers' running game, and they obviously need to be much better on offense passing the football, and Jalen Hurts has to be better, and they got to start faster. Like, all that is true, yet I still see no reason to panic. Like, this team had a 2-month stretch of complete dominance where we've seen them be be great in just about every area possible, not to mention that they did win this game, making it their 9th straight, and they clinched a playoff spot while doing so. So if they start losing and this type of play starts to become a trend, then I'll start to worry, but one game which they won is not going to make me start sounding the alarms. And again, just overall, as much as it was stressful, I'm just happy that the Birds got the win and are in the playoffs for the 4th straight season. That being said though, you guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What did you think of the Eagles win over the Panthers? And also, while you're at it, again, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any other Eagles uploads just like this. And also make sure you drop a like to show some support. Again, let's see if we can get to 800 likes today. Plus, if you want to watch another Eagles video, you can check this one out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.